2,000 crore rupees. That is how much money is secretly vanishing from the Indian economy every single year. And honestly, most of us have absolutely no idea it's happening. We're looking at a massive infrastructure bottleneck that essentially forces India to pay other countries just to handle its very own goods.
Yup, you heard that right. Somewhere between 1,700 and 2,000 crore rupees. That is the exact yearly revenue India is literally losing, simply because it doesn't have the proper ports to handle its own cargo. Just imagine that massive pile of cash every single year, slipping right through the cracks of our national supply chain and landing straight into the pockets of neighboring economies.
So, let's get into Section 1, the 2,000 crore leak. Which brings us right to Section 2, the transshipment trap. We really need to uncover exactly why this 2,000 crore leak is happening right under our noses. Look, this isn't just some minor logistical hiccup that only shipping nerds need to care about. It is a fundamental flaw in how our export economy operates on the global stage. Look at the sheer scale of the problem we're dealing with here. A whopping 75% of India's total exports do not go directly to their final destination. Instead, they get trapped in this highly illogical, super inefficient cycle where they're routed through foreign ports in Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Malaysia. Only a tiny 25% is actually handled directly by us. To understand why this happens, we gotta break down this concept called transshipment. Think of it like a mandatory, incredibly annoying layover for cargo. Instead of taking a direct, non-stop flight, your goods get packed onto smaller ships in India, sailed out to a foreign port, physically unloaded, and then reloaded onto gigantic ships, which the industry calls mother vessels, for the long haul. It's this whole extra, totally unnecessary step in the supply chain that burns both time and serious cash. And let me map out the sheer physical absurdity of this journey for you. Say you're a business trying to export goods from India to the Netherlands. Step 1, your goods leave India on a small vessel. Step 2, they actually have to make a pit stop in Colombo or maybe Singapore or Malaysia, literally just to switch boats. Step 3, they finally sail to the Netherlands. It burns through fuel, time, and logistical resources for absolutely no productive reason. It's practically the equivalent of taking a taxi to the airport, getting out, and immediately getting into a second taxi just to go to your gate. All right, Section 3, the 18-meter deep problem. Now you're probably wondering, why on earth are we doing this? Why can't we just load up those big mother vessels right here in India and sail directly to Europe? Well, visualize this for a second. Imagine trying to park a massive 10-story megatruck into a compact car parking space at your local grocery store. You wouldn't even try it, right? It physically wouldn't fit without crushing everything around it. That is exactly what happens if you try to bring a modern mother vessel into an older Indian port. These ships are basically 10-story floating buildings. So the physical root of this whole mess really just comes down to water depth. To safely park or dock one of these massive mother vessels, you absolutely need an ocean floor depth of 18 to 20 meters. But historically, the average depth of Indian ports has only been around 12 to 17 meters. We simply haven't had the physical depth required to park these giants, which forces them to dock in deeper, neighboring countries instead. And man, the financial drain of having shallow ports is just brutal. Because we're forced to use smaller ships to ferry goods over to those deeper foreign ports, we end up paying their handling fees, we pay their docking fees, and we pay the extra transport costs just to get the goods there in the first place. All of this is money draining directly into foreign economies. We are essentially handing over our hard-earned cash to other nations simply because our parking lot isn't deep enough. So what's the ultimate result of this logistical nightmare? Well, Indian exported goods become significantly more expensive on the global market. When you tack on all these unnecessary shipping, docking, and handling costs to the baseline price tag of our exports, it severely hurts India's global competitiveness. We're practically handicapping our own economic growth before the goods even reach the buyer. But there is good news. Let's look at Section 4, the vizhinjam port solution. There is finally a light at the end of the tunnel here. While India's older ports have been stuck at that restrictive 12 to 17 meter average, the brand new vizhinjam port in Kerala boasts a massive natural depth of 24 meters. This is an absolute game changer. It is tailor-made to finally allow those 10-story mega mother vessels to dock directly on Indian shores, letting us completely bypass the need for those costly foreign layovers. Structurally speaking, this mega project is a major public-private collaboration. It was built and is currently being operated by the Adani Group.
Under the terms of the agreement, they'll manage the port's operations for the next 25 to 30 years, and after that, the entire facility will be returned to the government.
And let me tell you, the immediate impact is absolutely staggering. Just look at these early numbers. In just its first 18 months of operation, this port has already handled over 2 million containers. It didn't just meet expectations, it smashed its first-year revenue targets by an incredible 40%. It's undeniable proof that when you finally build the correct deep-water infrastructure, the massive demand instantly follows.
So what is next? Section 5, the road to 2029.
Now, as fantastic as these early numbers are, we do have to ground this explainer back in reality for a second. While the vizhinjam port is a massive success, currently only Phase 1 is live. And at its current operational capacity, we're still facing roughly a 3 million container gap. That means, for right now, Indian exporters still have to rely partially on those foreign transshipment ports to handle the overflow. So we haven't fully broken free from the transshipment trap just yet. But the roadmap to true independence is super clear. Phase 1 launched in 2024. Over the next few decades of operation by the Adani Group, the goal is massive, scaled expansion. By 2029, when Phase 2 is targeted for completion, capacity is expected to hit 57 lakh containers per year. That's 5.7 million containers. That is the critical milestone where India can truly handle its own massive cargo loads directly. So, this single port project is actively working to plug a 2,000 crore leak, reclaim our own supply chain, and drastically boost our global competitiveness. But looking at the sheer scale of what just 18 meters of water depth cost us all these years, it leaves you with a massive question to ponder. If we were bleeding this much money just on port depth, how many other hidden infrastructure bottlenecks are secretly stalling our country's future growth right now? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.